Hi, I'm Adeeba Rashid, and I'm a data science and business analytics intern at Sparks Foundation. So today I'm going to discuss Task-2, that is prediction using unsupervised machine learning. And the dataset that was given to us was Iris the Flower dataset. So here we have to predict the optimum number of clusters and we have to represent them visually. So I've started by importing the libraries that are pandas, numpy, matplotlib, .plt and Seaborn. And then I have just read my data set by using pd.read_csv. And this was a data set in the form of a CSV file. Then I'm just printing my data set and this is what we have got. And then in order to know the number of rows and columns, I have used data.shape. So it can be seen that 150 rows are there and 6 columns are there. Now I'm just fetching the information from my data set, and as I can see that ID column is of int type, then sepal length, sepal width, petal width are of float type, and species is the target one, which is an object. Now I'm just dropping my ID column. It's because it's kind of a repetitive and there is no need of this column. So I'm just using data.drop ID. So just then I'm printing my columns and I can see that it has been completely dropped out from the data set. Then I'm just checking for the duplicate and null values from the data set. So here we can see that there are no null values and basically there are no, there are 3 duplicates. Now I'm just dropping duplicate rows from the data set, and that's why I have used data.drop duplicates. And then I'm just displaying data.shape 0, which gives the number of rows. And similarly, if you want the number of columns, then you can use data.shape 1. Now, next step is to check for any outliers in the data set. And then I have looped in from my data set. And here, what we have got is that sepal does not contain any outlier, whereas sepal width contains some outliers on both of its ends. Then petal length does not contain any outlier and petal width does not contain any outlier. Then I'm just going to treat the outliers present in the sepal width column and then plotting a box plot of it. So I'm just looping through it by using IQR and by deducting Q3 minus Qn. So then I'm calculating the lower fence and the upper fence. Then after this, I'm using a lambda function for all of this treatment of the outliers. And after that, what I've got is that there are no outliers present in the sepal width. Now our target class was the species column. So as we can see that there are Iris versicolor is 50, Iris virginica is 49, and Iris setosa is 48. Now let's see, let's describe our data first. So here what our data looks like. It contains sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. And it also describes the count, median, mean, standard deviation, and rest of the things as well. Now I'm just fetching for the unique values from the data of species. So here we can see that there is Iris setosa, Iris versicolor, and Iris virginica. And the data type is object, of course. Then I'm just distributing the features of species here and then looping through it. And then I'm just plotting the plot of all of these three, that is sepal length, sepal width, and petal length and petal width. Now I am finding the correlation matrix. So for that I've written data.corr. Then after that I am just plotting a heat map from the SNS. Then I'm just, in order to treat the clusters, I am just importing k-means from sklearn.cluster. And after that, I'm using an elbow method to determine the optimal value of k. This is what it looks like, the number of clusters. And then I'm just printing the number of clusters and then the labels as well. And after that, I'm just printing the data set. So now it contains 147 rows and 6 columns after treating all the outliers as well. Now I'm just, in order to see the complete plot of the predicted clusters, you can see this plot. Now after that, we can see that the data.log, data species equals to iris setosa, that is the cluster, and it is of type int. Then I'm just checking where the species is equals to iris versicolor, then it is of type int as well. And then for iris virginica, it is 236 and 013. Now the cluster is of type int. Now next, I'm just from SQL and metrics, I'm importing classification report, and I'm just printing that. And from SQL and matrix, import confusion matrix, and then I'm just displaying the heat map of all the solution. So this was whole task 2, and we come to an end. Thank you.